our only real key light is bouncing the light that had been the fill light, bouncing that off the disc that was the fill disc. Let's see what happens if we add a little bit of the eye light now. See if it does too much. I'm going to bring it in the barn doors. So I'm really just affecting the face. And here you can see, actually it seems like it makes more of a difference on the background. Let's see what happens if I bring this around a little. Okay. Now, one thing you may notice is that you're starting to see a little bit of shininess. Now, we're not really made up for video, so we're not made up with shine-free makeup. That's one of the things that you probably would want to do if when you're doing a video shoot is you make up, especially here the tip of the nose, up the brow, and the tops of the cheeks. That's where you tend to pick up a lot of extra reflections. Now the last thing I'm doing is this part of the demonstration is I'm going to bring this disc further around, and I'll aim the light up on it a little more now. Though I think a little bit of light is spilling. And so you see how as the position that the light is coming from changes, it doesn't take a lot of change in your light to make a big change on the person's face. Now, of course, the one other thing that we haven't been really talking about or dealing with is the fact that people don't always sit looking in the same place. So can you look over here, please? And now looking back to the door, all the way back. Now, you can see just how filled in the face looks there because that's the direction the light's coming from. Now look at the lamp over here. And now there's very little light on her face here. So if I know that she's looking back and forth, maybe I'll decide that I want to use that cheek light. Now, let me get back to the monitor and we'll look at what's happening now and looking back the other way. So that cheek light really adds a lot there. So it's kind of interesting how that works. Now I'm going to kind of start from scratch, and we're going to do something that's different. I'm just going to leave the backlight on, which now is really more of a shoulder light. And I want you to watch as I'm going to take a light that is a battery-powered handheld light. Oh, we're still getting, oh, actually, I just realized if I bring in the reflector, this is just reflecting, using the shiny side, reflecting the backlight, or using the white side. That's how much we get just bouncing the backlight back into the scene. So I'm getting rid of that. Now this light has a heavy battery on it, and I'm going to aim it away to begin with. And I think it's probably a little bit strong, so it's on a dimmer. This is an LED light. Now, I just want to kind of move it around, and so you can see what happens as the face is lit from different angles. I'm going to start out by reducing it a little more, and when we go overhead, this is kind of like an overhead fluorescent feel, or if I'm really overhead, this is more like a Godfather feel. Obviously, we all know that if we go right underneath, this is more of the Exorcist feel. But now watch what happens as I come around. Now, interestingly enough, if we come from, I think this should be just under the lens, that's actually a fairly interesting fill feel. But obviously the position of the key light can make a lot of difference in whatever scene, and that's, where you position the key has a lot to do with the way a character is perceived. And yes, there are rigs that can actually hold lights almost anywhere. However, as I'm just moving around to so you can get a feel for all the different ways that can work. That's this part of the show, and there's one other part that will appear in the next video.